In case you didn't know, if someone calls you sensitive for reacting to their disrespect, they are trying to manipulate you. Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining me here today. If you're new, I'm Amanda. Welcome to the channel where we are all about shattering mental health stigma. If you haven't already, please make sure you make sweet, sweet love to that subscribe button. Give the bell a few kisses so you're not missing any of this content designed to help you with your mental health or help someone else. Today I'm going to be reacting to The Tale of Jenny and Screech by Ren. I've done quite a few Ren reactions here on the channel, but this is one I get a lot of requests for, so here I am delivering. Now let's get into the reaction, The Tale of Jenny and Screech by Ren. I have to let you know though that just hearing the title, I'm definitely thinking of Screech from Saved by the Bell because I'm a 90s kid, so I'm going in with that image in my head. You know what? I'm here for it.
It was a quiet, dark night in an empty street somewhere in London City. Jenny walked alone, she was dragging her feet. She was heading back home to sleep. Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor, because she walked it about 1,000 times before. She wanted to escape. Can you blame? Well, on the very same night, in a different place, there walked this hooded young youth by the name of James. He was 14 years old and out of his brain. He'd been smoking ganja with the boys. James, he grew up to be a kid of the street. His mates called him Screech. He was quick on his feet. He was a liar, a thief. At 14 years old, the devil had set his sights on his soul. As Jenny walked home all alone, she felt scared. Usually she was alright, but it was like there was something in the air. A divine intervention telling her to beware, maybe intuition bugging her and making her so scared. Sirens sound in the distance to the beat of Jenny's feet. A symphony of the night that echoes crime on London streets. Jenny turns a corner, their eyes they meet. Up or go Jenny, a boy named Screech. Give me all your money, bitch, give it to me. If you cooperate, then you'll soon be free. I want your purse, your phone, don't fucking look at me. I mean it, bitch, are you listening to me? Jenny freezes statue like a lady shakes stalactite. Feel like liquid nitrogen in the dark night. She tried to find strength to move, but stayed as still as a statue in high-heeled shoes. What the hell you playing at? You playing games with me? I swear to fucking God, I'll slice the rosy off your cheeks. You think I don't mean it, girl? You don't know me. The last thing you see will be a boy code. Screech reached with the sheath of the blade, with the teeth that could bite through steel and slice concrete, and he swung possessed with the devil in his chest, and the statue she was turned to butter in her breath. It was a quiet, dark night in an empty street somewhere in London City. Jenny lay still on the cold concrete. She's found somewhere to sleep. Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor, 'cause she'd walked it about 1,000 times before. I guess that she escaped. It's such a shame.
Okay, it's gonna transition a bit. Wow, that had a lot of tone changes there. I feel like when Ren was Screech, I actually felt nervous. It actually made me feel anxious, so kudos to him for projecting that specific energy. I think Jenny's characterization suggests a sense of fatigue and disillusionment with life. She's dragging her feet, so I think there's this disillusionment. The talk of familiarity, she's walked these streets 1,000 times. That implies that she felt a certain level of safety and security and comfort, but that can also trap us into that monotonous cycle. We might not be paying attention to our surroundings. We're just kind of apathetic. We're just going through the motions, so we don't really seem to care. But I think the lyrics really shed light on the pervasive issue, the threat of urban crime, and that's not just an American issue. This is taking place apparently in London, and it's an issue there as well. It's something that we have to deal with pretty much no matter where we are. There are countries that have much lower crime rates, but in a lot of these places, we have to deal with this urban crime, particularly for marginalized individuals. Now, I don't know if Ren has spoken out about who Jenny and Screech are, like what ethnicity they are, or anything like that. But I think it's fair to say that Jenny lacks access, well, they both lack access to resources or support systems or things like that. And now I just want to say I'm big on self-protection. Pepper spray, Kubaton, if you're here in the US and you feel comfortable with it, a firearm, or even self-defense classes. I think that they should be taught in PE at a age-appropriate steps. I think we should be learning that in age-appropriate steps, but I think that self-defense should be taught in PE classes. But unfortunately, the escape for her seems to be death. Her story just seems to be done, like she's been written out, and that's just so heartbreaking. I've never really lived with that threat, so I can't speak to that. I can speak to being a woman and having that just innate fear of walking alone, which I tend to avoid to try to do in cities and stuff. When I travel or when I go downtown in evenings, I tend to not walk alone because I don't like that fear, even though I do have a firearm, even though I do have pepper spray and things like that. It's still really, really nerve-wracking. It's anxiety-inducing, and it's something that some people just will never understand. Okay. I was confused for a second.
Our story, it starts right at the end of the life of poor Jenny, clocked out like Big Ben. Dear Screech, dear boy, where did he go? He melted into the black night just like snow. Patrick, man, let me in, please open the door. I think I fucked up, Patrick, really fucked up, man, I'm not sure. I got crazy, left this lady lying still on the floor. I think I killed her, Patrick, come on, man, I can't knock no more. But Screech kept on knocking till his knuckles became sore. But there's no sign of Patrick down at number 54. No refuge for our villain, for the bitter hands of fate, with something far more sinister in mind that does away. Hey, babe, are you in? No, nothing really, I'm just a bit tired, listen. Can I swing around yours for a few moments? I just really miss you, babe. What the fuck do you mean you're busy? You fucking bitch! For fuck's sakes! Siren sounds approaching like a banshee in the night. The shrill cry of justice cutting like the sharpest knife. But Screech was never one to run, not one to miss a fight. One hand upon his blade, he turned to face the blue lights. Come on then, you fucking cunts, let's fucking have you then. I am Screech, I'm the boss, I'm the ender of men. You think that uniform you're wearing means that you own these streets? These are my fucking streets, and they call me fucking Screech. Richard was an officer who stood at 6'3", working London on the night shift. What he didn't think he'd see was a boy running at him like an animal possessed. With no time to hesitate, he fired 4 bullets at Screech's chest. Our story, it ends right at the start. Young Screech and poor Jenny lying one street apart. An officer shaken by the boy that he claimed. Two bodies lay lifeless, and it's such a shame. It's such a shame.
This video looks to be divided in chapters, so I'm pausing at the chapters. Wow. Suicide by cop. At first, I wanted to say that his lack of empathy would suggest antisocial personality traits. That's still a very real possibility, but he clearly feels immediate regret and remorse. Like he thought this was going to be cool, and he didn't really appreciate the nature of his actions, which, by the way, could be used in an insanity defense if he would have survived. But I just think that clearly there's some kind of backstory as to why he's like this. There's some sort of abuse that he's gone through. There could be some sort of personality disorders at play, but there's definitely something deeper. I'm wondering if we're going to get to know about that, because I just feel like the portrayal of Screech's descent into criminality at a young age. He said 14. I did misunderstand that. He said 14, not 40, right? So I that's what I heard in the beginning. It was a little hard to understand this accent, but that's what I heard. And I think that that highlights the failure of societal institutions to support and protect vulnerable youth. And I think that his involvement in drugs and in violence speaks to the influence of potential abuse himself, peer pressure, social environments, the impact of poverty, lack of opportunity and adequate access to education, mental health care, and services. I could go on and on and on. I could make a video just about that alone. But many want to paint these kinds of situations as black and white. They want to paint people like Screech as a monster, but those people are not educated about psychology and sociology, and this is tragic all around. There are two people that are dead. Obviously, they are fictional people, but this happens every day. So there are people that are dead because the system failed them. People failed them. Society failed them. Somebody failed them and led them to not believe in themselves, to not have the skills to be able to genuinely go live a positive, healthy life. They don't have the skill set for that for whatever reason. So I'm curious to see what the last part of this is going to be. Who's Violet? Did I miss something? I think I missed something. What is that? I like it. I like it. What's going on?
London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington is fighting just to stay alive. Rhythmic beats and bloodstains, she saw Lady weep, she's tired and frail. To set the scene, we must rewind the hands of time for Violet's tale.
Okay.
Violet was a silent girl, grew up with violent starts. Her mother was a drinker and her father was a bastard. Every night he took her tie but never left the room. I'll spare you with the things he did, I'm sure her mother knew. Violet was a silent girl, she moved out at 16. A semi-detached council flat, paid for by a welfare scheme. Packing shelves at Tesco, stacking jars like pickled bricks. She met a boy named Stevie and he was a little prick. Violet was a silent girl and Violet she fell fast. See, Stevie was a wrong and but he sure knew how to charm her. Every night he took her tie but never left the room. History repeats itself, he'd paint her black and blue and dark. She never stood a chance. The devil comes to dance. Violet, why are you always so quiet? On her bedroom door and he's irate. He's been drinking and smoking, he's up late. And he stands by her bedside, she shakes, but her eyes stay shut. You fucking slut, I know you're up. And he pinches her eyelids and folds them up. Violet, why are you lying to me, Violet? She stays silent, things turn violent. That's the sound of his fists when they fall like a crashing pilot. Hit like hailstones, one to the collarbone, full force, full blown, blood's black bone, crack, knick, knack, paddywhack, one to the jaw when the tooth spat, detached fist connects and disconnects a bone. A quick deflect to misdirect the blow, but nonetheless his punches met her throat. Such a mess he's left her bruised and broke. Violet, why you always so silent, Violet? Why you such a little liar, Violet? Do you think I wanna do this, Violet? In character, she stays silent. Well, say something, Violet. Silence. Fucking say something, Violet. Silence. Wait. Say something, Violet. Not one word. She stays quiet. London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington is fighting just to stay alive. The doctor, in a state of shock, saw something here so very wrong. See, Violet, she was pregnant. Poor Violet, she was 9 months gone.
Oh my God,
Turning to the doctor.
I'm sorry. I need a second to breathe for that one. That's... Now it's just dying in my own trauma too. You know, I'm gonna touch on this just real fast. I know we're almost done. That hit me a little bit. I really like that he stopped playing the music and there was that silence to reflect Violet's personality. That was a really nice touch. Oftentimes, when people are raised in a cycle of violence, they will then subconsciously seek out to continue that cycle of violence. And it's very much not something that they do intentionally, but that's how people that grew up in abuse can then subconsciously seek out that abuse. And there's a lot of theories as to why, whether they're trying to heal it, whether they're trying to cope with it, or a lot of people believe that they think that they deserve it at that point because they've been so conditioned by their original abuser. They think that they deserve it, or they have normalized that. There's a lot of reasons for that. Okay, sorry, gonna dive back in. Let's finish it.
Violet broke her silence and she cried, if I'm to die right here tonight, please let my baby stay alive. The doctor soon regained composure, called the surgeon to come in. As Violet's world turned to black, the curtains closed, the lights went dim. In London City, far from pretty, 2005, a lady down in Paddington just lost the fight to stay alive. A tragedy or a miracle, it happened on these very streets. Two twins, aligned side by side. A girl named Jenny and a boy named Screech.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then just silence. I did not see that twist coming. I was wondering how this tied in. I was legit just about to flip my desk, guys. That somehow the pregnancy story just had to slip in there and mess with me. I have a lot of trauma surrounding that myself. I've talked about that openly, about my own pregnancy loss and how that is very triggering for me. I was having a bit of a pity party. That part became a little bit about me. Thank you for holding space for me, but first off, so I can cool down for a second, Ren is literally over here just writing tragedies that rival Shakespeare, just these Shakespearean tragedies. I love them. I have immense respect for people that still speak with intellect, that speak with that kind of poetic depth. I love, love, love him. I think that every single thing he does is intentional. I loved the set changes and how each person had their own set, their own place, their own story there. The sound was very different for each section. I felt like just the music itself was very individualized for each person. I just imagine him back in the old days with his guitar wandering around the village and telling these stories to people, and I think that it would still in some way been relevant even back then. But okay, so let me make sure I have this right. The mother was terribly abused, and the father murdered the mother, so I assume that he went to prison or got locked up or was locked away somehow. So the babies wound up in the system and got separated. They're Ginny and Screech. Whoa, 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 whoa. I did not see that coming at all. This actually reminds me of the story of the Weeping Buddha. I actually have one right there. The Weeping Buddha, which was a story of two warriors, and they are both wearing masks, and the one kills the other in battle, and when he takes off the mask, realizes that he just killed his own son. That's what that makes me think of, and I have that there because the Buddha was weeping for the mistakes that he had made, or people believe in some of the tales that the Buddha is weeping for humanity, or that the father is weeping for his son. So there's several different iterations of it, but that's what that reminded me of. But this is a case of generational trauma, which is the enduring impact of traumatic events and experiences that reverberate across multiple generations, right? So that's within a family, within a community, across these generations. And experts think that it's a mix between genetics and the circumstances that people can perpetuate, that generations can perpetuate, whether that's systematic oppression or whether that's environment. Poverty can perpetuate the same environment through generations if they don't break that cycle. But these tragedies manifest in various forms, that includes grief, that includes psychological disorders, patterns of violence, disrupted family relationships, perpetuating cycles of suffering and disadvantage, like we're talking about here with Violet. So Violet perpetuated this cycle of violence unknowingly, obviously. So there's the parents that abused Violet, and that was just really disturbing to think about, that her father was doing that. I'm not going to get into graphic detail about child sexual abuse or physical abuse, but that was the obvious implication there. And then just winds up basically in that same relationship as an adult. Oh, that's so disturbing. It's a lot to digest. It's a lot to give us to think about. And these things need to be addressed on an individual level and on a societal level. There is no doubt about that. These things need to be addressed, they need to be worked through. And that comes from us listening to each other, that comes from us listening to the stories of other people, the experiences of other people. And I just want to say that I so much appreciate you guys sharing your stories and experiences. I always tell you to do that, but I've learned so much, and I'm going to be discussing that in some upcoming videos about the things that I've learned just from reading the comments here and hearing about the different experiences and stuff. Because it's not that we want to be closed off, it's just that if nobody explains things to us, we only know the world through our own eyes. So we only know of the experiences that we've seen or heard about. And when we can talk about them like this is a huge step in breaking this stuff, guys, because we can talk about it. We can move forward. We can break that generational trauma here together as a community. When we're getting mental health support, when we're in that mental health community, when we're talking about it, when we're getting professional help, when we're working on ourselves, we are breaking this cycle of trauma, of violence. We can help other people, help break that cycle of poverty. So, oh my gosh, it was just so heavy, but it was also very motivational. It really is one of those things that, okay, what do we got to do, guys? What do we got to do? Let's do it. let's move this in the right direction. So, thank you guys for suggesting this to me. It was a little anxiety inducing. I'm glad that I could just pause and take a breath. That's a totally healthy thing to do, by the way. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Sometimes you just need to say, okay, you know what? I'm upset. That triggered me. That was really uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. It's okay to be uncomfortable. Let's breathe through it. Let's breathe through it together. Thank you for that. As always, make sure that you're sharing your mental health stories here in the comments so I can learn, you guys can learn from each other, and that's how we shatter the mental health stigma. So thank you for another amazing Ren experience. Please give this video a thumbs up, share it. You never know who might need to see it, who might need to be here in the community to have a safe place to go if they are experiencing things like that, or like the song is depicting. We can give people that safe place. We can help connect them with resources. That's the purpose of this community. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Mwah.